If you're interested in winning more games of Madden, head over to winmadden.com, where you can gain access to the top offenses and defenses ran by the pros at the highest level. And you can now use my code DREW20 for 20% off your yearly or monthly membership and start winning today. All right, boys, today I have a fire offense for you guys. You guys are going to love it. I'm in the Minnesota Vikings offensive playbook, and I'm going to show you how you can shred your opponent in this gun bunch tight end formation, as well as some of the other sister formations that are going along beside of it to help you win more games. So if you're new, make sure you like the video, drop a sub down below, and turn the notifications on so you're always notified when a new post is live on the channel. So like I said, I'm in the Minnesota Vikings offensive playbook, and the reason I'm in the Vikings is because they have a really good tight Y off, which is right next to the bunch tight end. We have a bunch open offset that has some really good gimmicky plays like RPOs and some good runs and things like that. And then they also have a good bunch spread nasty, but I'm going to go over that in a separate, probably my next offensive video. I'm going to do that one. But we're going to be mainly operating out of the gun bunch tight end formation. And you always want to make sure you have in your audibles cheat tight end, hitch, halfback seam. Really good auto motion play. RPO Alert Bubble. This is why we're in the Minnesota Vikings playbook, because this is probably the most annoying RPO in the whole game. It's the most difficult to stop. And then we have whips, which is a really good chain mover, really annoying play, impossible to guard. And then we have PA verticals, which does a lot of our coverage bombs, things like that. And so with these plays in our audibles, we want to always make sure we're coming out in the play mesh. And you can't see it, my face cam's hiding it, but this is the play we're going to come out in every time. And I want to take a minute to show you guys what we need to be doing here. So I'm going to move my face cam. I'm going to make sure to move it back because my defensive videos, I tend to leave it up there and forget about it. But there is a new feature in the game with the latest patch where you can set your auto pass protection. You always want to have this on base, because base is going to allow you to, like, it's going to keep your offensive line from like randomly half sliding, full sliding, depending on what play you're calling. Before you start every single game, you want to make sure you go to auto pass protection and switch it to base, so that you guys have such your offensive line has the dark gray lines every play, so that you're not you don't randomly get sacked by a blitz or whatever. Not saying you still won't get sacked or whatever, but this just really helps negate the randomness of the offensive line play. So as you can see, we are in the play mesh, and all the route combos I'm going over are going to beat every type of zone coverage. So it really doesn't matter what I'm showing you, unless we're showing you set up specifically to beat cover 2. So, and all these route combos will beat man and zone equally. So you don't never have to worry about whether they're in man or zone. You're always going to have a route that beats everything. So the reason we come out in the play mesh is because it's a really good quick snap play, and you only have to make one, maybe 2 hot routes for you to be able to get yards against any defense. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the person that's on the corner route, we're going to put him on a crossing route. So that is triangle, select your select square, and then up on the D-pad. That puts them on a crossing route. And then from there, you can either block your running back or you can put them on a table route. And what this is really doing, this is just like a 5-out look. This is like flooding the middle of the field. And the reason we leave the flat route on the field right here is because look at this tight end drag. This is going to be your first read. The flat route will pull the zones apart. You can fit that ball right in there real nicely, and you can get an automatic 5-10 yards if they don't user it. So we're just putting our outside bunch receiver on a crossing route, and this next one's optional. You can either table the running back or block him, whichever you want to do. If you put him on a table route over here, it's going to do the same thing with this slot receiver drag route. It's going to pull the zones apart, and you can fire it in there in that little pocket. So with all these drags going on, they're gonna have to commit a lot of resources to stopping this. I'm not saying you can't stop this setup, but it really stresses the middle of the field and the underneath areas, and it's just so simple. Like, you really just have to put them on a crosser, and then you're good to go. And then if they are biting heavily down underneath and they forget about this crossing route, you can fire it in, boom, pass lead down, and you can possession catch it, rack it, spin someone out, or whatever you want to do here. So we're going to do this one more time. Just put that outside receiver on a crossing route. You can optionally block your running back or put him on a table route. So I'm going to block him this time just to do a different little setup here. And then Or throw this crossing route again, you can see that little window, you can fit it in there. If someone's user's hanging out over the middle, that's an obvious sign to just maybe not throw the crossing route. But you always want to keep your opponent on their toes. And the fact that you can just make one hot route and snap the ball is really just like a win for you. And you're always going to be keeping your opponent guessing. All right, our second setup for this play is if you have the bunch on the weak side of the field. Now, this is one of those unique offensive formations where you can really get real versatile with your route combinations. To like you can have your bunch on the left or the right side of the field. I would always recommend having your bunch to the wide side, but if you're not really a flipping type of person on offense, if you don't flip your formation a lot, this is a good setup for you if you end up with your bunch on the short side of the field. So what we want to do here is we want to streak our slot receiver right here. And then we want to put our tight end on a return route. And you can block your running back, table him, whatever you want to do. But what we're doing here is this is the flood concept to the left side of the field. This is your standard flood. And you could stem this corner route up or down as many times as whatever depth that you choose, so that you can whatever you feel like is comfortable to get the corner out over the top of that deep zone or that flat zone. So you're just making a read here. If you want to throw the flat immediately, you can, if they're giving it to you. And then you can also look to this backside return route from the tight end. So we're streaking the slot receiver, we're return routing the tight end. And so we want to look out for this tight end return route as well. Now the zones are kind of guarding it because there's a bunch of yellows on the field. But if your opponent's user is one of those yellow zones, then a lot of times that return route will be wide open for you. So we're gonna go here with the return route. That's always a good check down option if there are no yellows in the middle of the field, of course. And I want to show you what this looks like from like if the defense is shaded down. So this is a cover 2 hard flat. I don't know why it's still showing cover 3, but we do have hard flats on the field. So I just wanted to show you this example against this specific style of defense. So if they do have hard flats on the field, you're going to have this corner route over the top, and it's just really a quick read. And I'm going to move the ball over in case you're in midfield or you're on the other side of the field. Like here, it's still going to work. So because the bunch is widened out a little bit, it's still going to allow you to throw this against any type of hard flat defense. So if you just pass lead it at the right angle, you should be able to possession it, rack it, whatever you need to do to get those extra yards. So again, all we're doing is we're streaking the slot receiver and return routing the tight end, and then we're optionally blocking the halfback. If you're going against hard flats, you'll be able to see that immediately and fire it down the sideline. All right, the next play we're going to go over is this play, cheat tight end hitch halfback seam. Now this play is unique to the Minnesota Vikings offensive playbook. It's also in the Jaguars. If you want to run the Jaguars version of bunch tight end, you'll just be missing the RPO bubble. You'll have the outside zone instead as a run play. But the thing I really like about this play is the auto motion element of it, of course. It's a really powerful play, and it's a really underrated play, and you don't really see it ran a lot online unless you're playing like a really high level bunch tight end player. So what I like to do here is I like to streak the slot receiver, I like to return route the outside bunch receiver, and I like to put the tight end on a post route. And what this does against a cover 3 defense, cover 4, cover 6, whatever it is, I'll show you specifically what it does versus cover 2. But it's pretty much going to be the same setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the auto motion play out. And your first 2 reads are going to be either the running back up the seam, because it's going to get in that nice little seam area. And a lot of times your opponent is not going to user that or see that coming. And then your second read on this play is going to be the return route from the outside bunch receiver. So if they manage to cover everything, the return route gets in a nice little space right here. And also, if you have the spin cycle ability in Madden Ultimate Team, you should be able to spin people out with a 6'4" receiver like T-Mac. So we're going to demonstrate that for you guys. We're going to throw the return route. So here, boom, and then boom, hit the spin move. And the spin cycle ability on a 6'4" receiver is going to give you that glitchy spin animation. And a lot of times you can hit people with a double spin and get out of there for a touchdown. So that is those are your 2 check down reads for that play. And then you always want to not forget about this seam route and this post route. Specifically against cover 3, the seam route can get in a little area as long as that hook doesn't match it. So this is like default settings in practice mode. So a lot of times people will shade their hooks underneath. So whenever they shade their hooks underneath, you'll be able to fit that seam pass in that nice window on the second level of the defense. So we're not going to get to do it. We're not going to get to do it in this example because the vert hooks are matching, but you guys get the idea. So we're going to show you guys the post route here. So we're going to post route the tight end, streak the slot, return the outside receiver. And so if you can get their user to bite down on the underneath stuff, you can hit this tight end post. We're not going to have time in the pocket, but I'll demonstrate it one more time for you guys. So we streak the slot receiver, return route the outside guy, and then we post route the tight end. And then we let the auto motion play out. This is against any zone defense that's not cover 2. So boom, you have the tight end post down the middle. And that would be like your last option on that play. All right, now I'm going to cover 2 defense, and we're going to show you guys how this same route combo can absolutely torch cover 2. And this is where you want to look for the auto motion wheel. If you pick up on your opponent's tendencies and you notice that they're playing underneath hard flats on that right side of the field, and you're on the hash where your bunch is on the wide side of the field. So if we were on the opposite hash, we would have this formation flipped. You want to be able to look for this auto motion wheel route. So you're going to look and see and wait for it to get over the head of the defense right there. That's how you can burn cover 2 with this play, or just any play, any zone defense where they're running hard flats. So we're going to run the same route combo that we did before. So you'll notice all the seam patterns are going to get clamped down because cover 2 that's just the kind of shell that cover 2 is. It's going to take away all the short intermediate areas of the field. So you want to be able to attack that with a deadly auto motion wheel. So you're going to see again when we demonstrate this against cover 2 or any defense that's hard flats, you want to wait for that to get over, and then hopefully you can possession catch it inbounds and throw it accurately like I did not. So this is the run play that we're going to be going over. This is the RPO zone alert bubble. So if you don't do anything or press circle to throw the bubble, it's going to hand the ball off to the running back. And it actually gets pretty good blocking against most fronts, unless it's like a heavy box, of course. So whenever you're running this play, you always want to look to throw the RPO first though. And a lot of times it'll be open because it's really, I'll be honest, it's really hard to defend this RPO. It's really annoying. So if you have a right-handed QB, I would just make sure just run it just like it is right here. If you use Michael Vick, I would recommend flipping it and running it the other way so that he doesn't get like an awkward throw animation. But as you can see, this can range anywhere between like 5-10 yards, maybe even a touchdown. So you always want to keep your opponent honest with this. And then if the blocking's set up correctly, you can crib this for a touchdown. And so I actually want to show this against a mid-blitz type of look because in case you're facing that type of defense online, I want you guys to have something. I want to show you guys that this RPO is really deadly against mid-blitz specifically, because mid-blitz just has no chance against this RPO because a lot of times you can crib this and get good blocking because of like when they're mugging at the line of scrimmage or really any heavy cover 0 blitz. This RPO will just absolutely destroy it because the person that's manned up to the bubble is going to be the top safety, and a lot of times he gets caught in the traffic and he cannot get out there. So you'll notice in that first example we were correct, and then in this one we are not. So it's kind of like, you want to make sure that so sometimes that safety that's manned up to him will get caught in the traffic. Now, whips is the next play we're going to be going over. This is a really annoying play just by itself, just without making any hot routes, because you have 2 stock zig routes that run deep into the middle of the field. And this is not common. Like, these are non-hot routable zigs. So if we were to put him on a regular zig, you'll notice that obviously it's a lot shallower. It cuts a lot. It doesn't go as deep into the field as the stock ones do on the play. So you want to build around this, and the best way to do that is to put your outside bunch receiver on an out route, and then you want to post route this slot receiver right here. And you can either streak this guy or you can leave it how it was. So we're just going to reset the play here. We're going to post route the slot receiver, out route the outside receiver, and then this is it right here. This is like you're giving them 2 zigs to guard, and it's just going to break apart any zone defense, and you can throw it in that nice little area of the field right there. and it's the same on the other side, okay? Because you have a stock table route from your running back. So you want to post and out this guy over here, and that's really it. So the reason this post route is here is so that you can keep the user or the defense honest over the deep middle of the field, so that not everything is running shallow, if that makes sense. So of course, if they're not respecting it, you can fire it over the middle and catch it. But that's just something to look out for. So we're going to go over the play again, post the slot, out route the outside bunch receiver, and this is really it, man. And so the tight end zig is what's really annoying as well. The yellows are playing it, but like I said before, people's user is going to be one of those. So we're going to do this right here. We're going to run the play again, post the slot, out route the outside bunch receiver, and it's going to pull apart the zones, and it will allow you to get some easy yards underneath. And if you do still want to run this play, I wouldn't recommend running it against cover 2, but in case you still want to run it against cover 2, or you don't really know if it's cover 2 or not, you can do an alternate setup, which is to just streak the slot receiver, and then you're going to look for that deep corner route to get over the top of the cloud flat, and you should be able to get it in there pretty easily. I'm going to try to deliver a more accurate throw for you guys so that we can actually get it. And so all we're doing is streaking the point man, and then we're looking for this deep corner route. So it should get over just like that, and you can possession catch it. And that is like really the theme, or like the whole strategy behind this offense as a whole, is you want to pepper them underneath as much as possible, and then right when you get them to go into cover 2 defense, that's when you want to run your cover 2 beaters and start beating them deep down the sideline, as a good example right here. So boom, we're getting this possession catch, and this is like we're throwing it to the wide side of the field. So that's there's a lot of open space there. All right, the final play we're going over in this Minnesota Vikings offensive ebook for bunch tight end is PA verticals. Now, PA verticals is our bomb play, and there's really no setup to it. Only thing I would do is I would probably zig route the tight end to give yourself a check down option and re-block the running back so that you don't carry out the play fake animation, because it's kind of long and annoying. So just whip route the tight end, and I would streak the outside bunch receiver just so that you can hold that middle third, and you're looking for this deep post coming over the top. If we can get some time in the pocket here, we can roll out, and then you're going to see that deep post route is going to get over the top of the deep third, because the crossing route that the innermost receiver is running on this play is going to hold the deep third. So you're going to notice right here, we're just going to block our halfback and streak the outside bunch receiver. We're going to re-block our halfback, and then you can put the tight end on an optional route if you feel like you are not going to have time to throw this. So we're going to try to roll out here, and then you're going to see that post route just gets over the top of the defense, and you can bomb cover 3. And not only does PA verticals bomb cover 3 for a one-play touchdown, it can bomb cover 2 for a one-play touchdown as well, because it has this unique slot fade route on the outside bunch receiver. So all you really have to do is streak the point man if you're trying to bomb cover 2. And then I would probably drag the tight end and re-block the halfback, just in case, to give you like a check down option in case you don't have time to throw this. But against cover 2, you want to be looking for this this outside wheel point man, drag the tight end, block the halfback, and you're going to be looking for this slot fade down the deep sideline. As soon as you see him pass by that cloud flat, you want to pass lead it as far to the left or to the right if you're on the opposite hash as you can. As far as scoring in the red zone with this offense, I would just recommend running the RPO bubble as a first resort. So if the RPO is open, you could throw it and then score a touchdown pretty easily, or you can leave it. You can hand it off to the halfback, and the blocking is usually good enough to get you into the end zone, or at least get you about 2 to 3 yards that you need in order to get in there. But if you do have to pass, I would recommend running the whips play. And honestly, since you're so close to the end zone, I would just leave it stock. You can put them on an out route like our first setup was, but you're going to be looking for this whip route from your slot receiver here to get in that soft spot in the zone coverage. I'm going to quickly go over these like 2 sister formations that are right next to gun bunch tight end. One of them is to the left, one tick to the left, that is a gun bunch open offset. The audibles that I have set here are RPO read bubble, duo, flood, and lead swing spot. And I'm going to quickly go over all three of these plays. Really unique RPO. This is essentially a triple option. This is a read option, run play, and a pass play built in. So if you see the bubble come open, by all means, you could throw the bubble immediately. You should get pretty good blocking on it, with your tight end in the slot being your lead blocker. So that's always a plus. And the other option you have is if you have a dual threat quarterback, you can actually keep this with the QB by pressing and holding X if they bite down, just like that. And then if you have a fast QB, you can run to the second level and really catch your opponent off guard. This can be a really good tactic in the red zone. So, like, this is a really good play that you can audible to from time to time. Like, say, if you come out and you don't want to flip your bunch tight end, you want to immediately audible to this play. That is totally good. But this is a really good play to keep your opponent on his toes. And then the second play, which is the run play, is a duo. So shotgun duo runs are probably the best runs in the game, if I'm being honest. Like, they're way better than inside zones, 0-1 traps, and like just your under center power runs and stuff like that, just because of the unique blocking style of it. So it's like it can be really good for getting to the second level easily, and it can rarely be shot by a user. So that's the cool thing about the duo runs. And with this one specifically, you're with no baseline in the game, you're widening out the defense, so you're forcing them to have a lighter box anyway, and so that can open up really big holes for you in your running game. The other play in here is flood. Now, flood, I don't run it too much. This is just like a catch them off guard type of thing, because usually when you audible this formation, they're immediately going to think RPO. So I would just stem this corner route down one, and treat it like a flood concept, and then just like put this dude on an in route. So with all that commotion on the other side, you can pretty much easily throw this in route, and they're not going to see it coming. And the last play in this formation is the lead swing spot. So lead swing spot is pretty much the same thing. You're going to streak your slot receiver, except you have, this is a pretty unique play. So your slot receiver is blocking for you. So if you just want to throw the swing pass, you're going to have some good blocking out in front to get some easy yards underneath. And then another setup you can do for this play is take advantage of the spot route. So you can kind of build around the spot route here. You can drag your slot receiver here, or you can put them on a slant, whatever you want to do. It looks a little sketch, I'll be honest with you, but you might can also just put him on a slot fade or something like that if you want. So you can take advantage of the spot route. Boom, he sits in the middle of the field against any type of zone defense that's not cover two. You're pretty much going to get a lot of yards against that. And before I end this video off, I want to go over the other sister formation to the right side of it, gun tight, white off. So the audibles I have here are tight end corner, duo, red zone scissors, and Piego slot cross. So we're going to go over tight end corner here. And really the only setup I have for you guys is to post route the tight end, and then streak the running back out of the backfield, and then streak the slot receiver here. And so you have a high-low over the middle. It's kind of like a Durham concept. You can like, obviously you have the return route underneath, and then you have the running back up the seam. So we're going to run that one more time for you guys. So we're going to audible to this play again, and then we're going to post route the tight end, streak the running back, streak the slot receiver. It's a pretty smooth audible system too. So you have your running back up the seam as well. So if they don't cover the seam, immediate seam area, you can quick fire it in just like that, just like we did with motion tight end halfback seam. And then we also have this, against cover three in particular, you can look for this seam streak to throw as long as the yellow zone doesn't carry it. So you just kind of have to see the field and read the field on your own. So you also have the tight end post. Don't forget about that. So you got the tight end post just in case they guard everything else. And that's the cool thing about this route combo too, is that there's really something open every time. So we got the tight end open late. You can catch that on the sideline. And then the other run, and then we have duo, and then we have duo right here. So this is just like the other duo run and the other formation that we went over. So this duo, you can hand it off. It's a really good shotgun run play. You just have to trust me on it. A lot of times they're not going to be able to shoot it. So if you audible to this run, hit him with it a few times. It's just a good way to keep your opponent balanced and making him worry about the run and the pass. And then the reason I put red zone scissors in here is because it's a really good quick snap play. So you just streak your outside receiver all the way on the right, and then you have a simple high-low over the middle on the backside, and then you have a flood concept with the running back on the corner route this time. So if you're getting blitzed a lot, I would not recommend running this play too much. This is against like your standard 4-man, 3-man rush type of deal, because you will not be blocking your running back on this play, because I mean he is the threat up this. He is the threat on the second level of the defense. Um, so this is just a really good quick snap play. If you're pressured, you can check it down to that in route, or if he's playing like hard flats or something, you can look to hit that running back corner route. So yeah, or you can just throw it immediately. That's an option too. And the last play we're going over here is PA go slot cross. This is just, I would rarely run this play. It really just helps you counter stunts, if I'm being honest. So we'll just return route this guy, put him on a crosser, and streak him. So this is kind of what I would do here. So boom, you have the return route backside right here. Catch the ball, spin with spin cycle. Or if you have time on the second level of the defense, you can hit this crossing route. So cross route, return route, streak route. You're basically rerouting everyone except for the tight end flat. So if you have the tight end flat open, you could take the tight end flat, of course. This is just a mix-up play. You're not going to run this every single down. So if you boys enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so I can post more videos like this for you guys and I can help you win more games. So without further ado, I'm out of here. Peace.